Hey folks, it's Rob, and welcome back for a special bonus video today where I go through some recent acquisitions of some things I want to share because, I found some things and I also bought some things. And I bought the things I found, but you know what I mean. I also bought some things from, we'll get into it. First thing I'm going to show you is oh, I know, it's oh so special. It's yet another red box set. This is not the one I was showing previously. This one's a bit more damaged, but I bought this one because it had dice. Yes, look at them in their beauty, practically unused. So nice. The books are in fair shape, but they someone definitely made use of them, right? Um, you'll come across these like this. But I got this for less than I would hope to expect to pay because of the dice. See, like someone's used the graph paper here. Uh, you know, it's fine, right? Uh, it's generally in pretty good shape for just use. But yeah, I got it for these. I'm gonna move these. I know this is a bit sacrilegious, but I'm gonna move these in with my good box set and complete that set. And meanwhile, these will just actually be my daily driver, as it were, when I need one of these out, uh, or if I need to like let somebody use the rules, right? For example, my wife. The next thing I have, and this is a little unusual for the collection, and that is this is a 21st century item. But once upon a time, there was a 45th anniversary for Dungeons and Dragons, and this is a Sapphire anniversary dice set. I was going to get this, but I couldn't afford it at the time. And, that's how life goes, right? And then by the time I remembered and I could do it, it was gone. These were sold out. This is a limited thing. Uh, yep. Nice white box, right? Sits in a little holder tray in here, which, I'll just get it out. There we go. So, there's your box. Um, Box contains, first off, you get this like dice tray, right? And it's got a felt back, it's got a white front, it's got the nice silver logo in the middle. This is actually quite a nice dice tray. In the dice tray is this little fold out. Now this is for 5th edition, the not quite modern now rule set of Dungeons and Dragons. But you have yourself an adult sapphire dragon, right? Gem dragons. Here we have a little card. This indicates that this was 1678 of 1974 made. Here's for the next 45 years. Bunch of nice signatures there. Obviously, this is a print, but here we have some stickers. Yeah, I'm not going to use the stickers. I like the stickers, but this is a set, right? I'm not going to take it apart for that. Here we have the actual dice, and got a little dice. Got to pull the thing to open it. Recall this is rather firm, actually. Yeah, there we go. Right. So let's see how this comes over in the camera. Yeah, okay. So you got these like kind of vibrant blue lettered, and you can see we have the ampersand symbol for the one, right? Uh, or they're like in the middle of the D4. And yeah, let's set them so they're all right. Right, where's the... You are not on your thing. Oh, wait, yeah, you have a sapphire in your thing here. Right? Um, Yeah, these were selling for not small amount of change when they were new. They are dice, right? And they're metal. They are inked, and they are custom and limited edition. And I could not resist buying it for not as much money as I would have had to pay new for it. And I am very pleased to have it, honestly. Uh, Maybe you're not interested. I don't mind. I wanted these when they were announced before I was really tired of Modern WotC, and I didn't have to pay them. I paid Goodwill. So, you know, I win. That's how I see it. Um, Speaking of dice, not to be super boring about dice, I trust you. This is only the only other set of dice we're going to be talking about today. I got this with a lot, and these are jumbo polyhedral dice. These are practically 20 years old at this point as well. I think you can still buy jumbo dice from various places. Um, but, it was nice that these came with the set. Um, to contrast, here's a much more normal set of dice, right? Uh, and I can assure you, as an old person, first off, I prefer numbers on the bottom of my D4, not on the points. Secondly, I like large, clear dice with high contrast and no fancy stuff on them because it's actually, I want to be able to read my dice right away. So, because eyes aren't what they used to be, unfortunately. Neither are hands. That's why I don't do. I discovered after much expense that I'm not actually terribly good at painting anything anymore. Oh, these have to need to go in a certain way because otherwise they don't really fit in the tube. Let's see here. Did I not get... I didn't get everything out of the tube. Okay, whatever. Just get that out of the way. There we go. Hey, I did it right. Okay. See? Just fits. Like I was saying, yeah, I was going to paint some Battletech miniatures, painted a few, worked on it for a while, and discovered fine detail and my eye and hand don't combine well anymore. I'm not in my 20s like I was when I was first painting. Actually, I was first painting miniatures when I was in my teens. So long ago. But yeah, fine detail work is kind of hard to do now. And so honestly, I put it on the back shelf and just it's sitting back there, but I'm probably not going to paint. Uh, let's move on to happier things. This is a one-on-one challenge of the Druid's Grove. It's an AD&D box set thingy by James M. Ward. You may be like, take a guess right now what this is if you're not familiar with what it is. This was originally sold for $6. So at the time, you could have bought a module for this, or basically like a paperback novel at, like, say, Walgreens, right? It's 2 books inside a little box jacket, so I have to like kind of work it out because there we go. In fact, let's put the books over there, and we'll just read this back cover here for you. One-on-one adventure game books, and this logo is very 80s, isn't it? That's because this is 1985. When you think of certain kinds of 80s, mid 80s are very peak 80s, and a new kind of game. Inside are 2 books for 2 players. One of you becomes Arcane, a great wizard. The other is his rival, Renwood, a powerful druid. The 2 of you have been sent by your elders to try to gain the wonders, the wealth, and the magical objects that lie hidden in the deadly Lath's Grove. You enter the terrifying wood without a map to guide you, knowing that evil creatures are waiting to stop you at every turn. As you select your magical spells from your spellbook, you hope that you have chosen wisely, for you know your enemies will be powerful. Your opponent takes the part of all monsters and enemies you fight, just as you take the part of any enemies he faces. An easy, diceless combat system simulates battle. It does allow for an optional D20, but yes, this isn't like the solo module adventures. Um, it is an exciting. Well, some of them don't need dice very much. That's a whole tangent. We're not going to get into it. It is an exciting game of adventure and magic as you and your rival race to be the first to win through to the center of the grove. Everything you need to play is provided. 2 books, magic spells, combat table, character sheets. No dice required. All you provide is 1 friend and 2 pencils. Play anytime, anywhere. Play many times. The game is always different. Good luck in your challenge of Druid's Grove. The one-on-one name and logo, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, AD&D, products of your imagination, and TSR logo are trademarks owned by TSR Incorporated, 1985. One-on-one adventurer for 2 high-level magic users, which isn't strictly true. One is going to be a druid, which is, it is a magic user, but it isn't a magic user in the AD&D sense. Here we have Renwood's book. A powerful druid. Here we have Arcane, a great wizard. Now, you may note that there's a bit of a sheet sticking out here. That's because these are used. When original, first off, you can see here, some of these sheets here are a bit dog-eared, right? Someone has written on this page, right? This here was originally attached. You can see it says it cut here, right? And this has been removed from the book because this is the Challenge of the Druid's Grove bookmark. And this is your stat sheet for your character. It's also conveniently, rush me a copy of Dungeons & Dragons Basic Set, right? Send in this coupon with $12 plus $2 postage and handling to get yourself a basic box set. So you cut that off, you lose this section down here. What's more, these other pages, these are like your notes, primary character, arcane wizard, wizard spellbook, right? These have all been carefully removed from the glue binding, right? And they would originally have been over here. And you're like, what? This is unusual, Rob. What is this thing? It's basically kind of like dueling choose-your-own-adventure books. As an example, you can see we got plenty of pictures in here, right? And not so much text at the bottom. Space warrior. You don't know what strange dimension you're in, but you want to save the life of this brave human warrior who has weird aliens after him. Tell the Druid reader to turn to Monster Table on page 146 and run Monster Encounter 92. If you lose all your hit points, turn to page 144. If you win the battle, the warrior agrees to go with you on your quest. And here's a space warrior. He's got 10 hit points. His laser gun does 10 hit points of damage per successful combat turn. Pleased with your new ally, you're able to activate the energies of the sphere to get back to the Forest of Lath. Turn to page 60. There's all kinds of stuff in here like that. Nice double page with some classic pig-faced orcs, right? Looks nice. Turn to page 116 to fight this battle. I find it a treasure, even in its slightly worn and used state, right? And, here we have this one, right? And he's got similar stuff going on. His sheet is where? It's right here, isn't it? Yeah, right here. So, again, someone has used this, someone has played it, uh, and I can hardly fault them for wanting to enjoy the product that they bought. I'm just Johnny Come Lately owner, right? Um, Ally Burke the Buck on. Okay. Druid spells, right? You know, these are the pages that come from inside this book, and basically from about here, right? And someone had to carefully cut these loose because here's the little stubby bits of the pages. Probably used a razor, right? In fact, let's see, that's 14. Oh, yeah, here's 11 and 10. 11, 12. That'll be 13, 14. That's 15, 16, and that's 17, 18 right there. In that order, and now they can go right back where they used to be once upon a time. Perfectly good fun for 2 players. A different experience. And honestly, I never played these as a kid, but I thought this was intriguing. I thought this was very interesting. We'll get to something I did do as a kid very shortly. But I wanted to share this with you. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll be in a collaborative project with somebody and we'll do this together. You see, we've got a combat table here on the back, right? And they both fit right back in the box. Just carefully put that away. There we go. And thing is with this kind of this box is like, see how it wants to push that back out? You got to be careful how you put things away like this. So really, what I should be doing is put this first one in and then put the second one in. That way I'm not crunching the pages against the back box. There we go. Next thing I have on the list is an actual purchase off of a website. And this is SnarfQuest, Danger on the Mystical Plains of Sashaar by Elmore. And that's not the only thing here. I have my knife. I'm going to just... Oh, guess I don't need it. I can just open the bag. Because there's actually more than one thing in here. Oop, bubble wrap. Maybe I should have cut it, though. Corner keeps catching. All right. First off, we got Elmore Character Clip Art and Color Customizing Studio, which includes clip art software, customizing studio for PC and Macintosh formats, various graphic formats here. They're 286 DPI bitmap TIFFs, and you can use photo elements or whatever. And you can use this art in stuff if you need, but you need to follow the license appropriately, right? But it's a lot of just Elmore character pieces, head pieces. You can use this for your gameplay, character concepts, right? And also, supporting Elmore. Not like Elmore's not successful, but like I want to show some appreciation for his stuff, and I didn't want to like buy a great big piece of art right away. Bought it off his website, LarryElmore.com, right? And I loved SnarfQuest and Dragon Magazine. This is a brand new set of adventures, which I have not read. That's why I bought this. And that is the primary thing I bought. I bought this as well, why not? It'll be fun. Allow me to get this, I'll have the CD. The CD was $5 more than the base book. It was $30, right? I know $30 is more to some people than others, but when I'm already paying the shipping, I wanted to have, see, personal use only for these large pieces. But it's nice to have a little Elmore work to flip through. Um, Heck, maybe you're into coloring, right? These feel free to use. Apparently, um, you need to accredit them appropriately if you're going to use it in a professional project, right? Got your license here, right? Um, on your uncanny ability to be on the cutting edge of coloring books. Most of the materials in this disc are designated as clip art. Page you're reading is OGL, open game content. Carefully read the licensing agreement on the back of this book to see what can and cannot do with clip art. Here it is in a nutshell. You can use all the material in the CD and this book for personal use only. That means print it out, color it, show it to your friends, be a gaming session to represent your character, colored or uncolored. You can modify it to suit your taste. Must leave a legible Elmore logo on it. You can also use most of this artwork in this disc for publishing purposes. That means you can use them in your game books, ads, banners, website, logo, etc., in PDF, whatever, as long as you don't sell them as clip art, and you must have a legible Elmore logo on the image. Once again, read the legal info in the back of this book for the do's and do nots use of this clip art. So, it's D20 system published clip art. Maybe I'll have a use for it. Maybe it'll just be convenient for me to have some characters, art for characters I have and run, right? Instead of just doing some Google searching and finding what I can grab. Meanwhile, here we have basically a brand new comic book for SnarfQuest, and I look forward to reading that. All this came in the mail recently, and I am what's primary why we're doing the video today. Also, someone said, hey, I should do a new bonus video on acquisitions I've done recently, and I'm like, hard to disagree. The last item is this, and this is related to that that one-on-one set that I was showing you before, but this is a purely solo venture. And this is something I played when I was a youngin', because this was something my friend Jim had on his shelf. I think I was 16. You can see here the concept is still used of like having this like character bookmark, right? You have basically two primary character types here. You have memory trace A and memory trace B. And these are functionally your character sheet for playing this game. And you can keep your additional time records here, right? Evidence boxes, that kind of a special staff of Waterdeep. You're playing an undead but intelligent. So you died, and you're trying to find out primarily what happened to you, and try to recover your memories enough to try to solve your problems, right? And it's, classically, another one of those, I always called them "What Do I Do Now" books. But it's very undead focused. This is set in the Forgotten Realms. It's second edition D&D, kinda. I'm okay with that. I quite enjoy second edition Dungeons and Dragons. Forgotten Realms is a bit tired in my book, but I don't mind this. And yeah, maybe I'll play again sometime. I do want to play again sometime. But this time, instead of doing what we all did back then, of cutting these loose and writing on them, I'm going to make copies. I'm going to treat this book proper, right? All the damage it suffered basically is just that got a bit of it's been opened and used, right? Someone opened the front cover. It's in fantastic shape. I forget who does the art in this. I should look. Cover art by Easily. Yeah, of course. This is definitely Easily. In fact, we've seen it in a variety of places. At this point, TSR is in a bit of trouble and is putting out stuff and trying to keep the money flowing. This is copyright in 1989. Actually, a little earlier than I was thinking. But yeah, I'd be like 15, 16, around then. Catacombs books. I don't think they released any others in the Catacombs book series. I think they had intentions. Night of the Living Dead. I couldn't remember that title for the longest time because it's so obvious. It took me quite a bit of effort to remember what this was and look it up because it's not really listed terribly well on the internet. And this in 1989 is kind of pre-internet, right? Let's read the back blurb for you. Enter the world of the undead. Dirt fouls your nostrils and mouth as you reach the inevitable conclusion. You yourself, once a holy paladin, have become one of the hateful undead, but you have no idea who you are or how you got here. One thing is certain, however, before you can escape your present state, you must stop the legions of undead, who even now labor feverishly to complete a monstrous underground construct that will spell doom for the entire population of Waterdeep, possibly all the realms. In Night of the Living Dead, you enter the world of a visual maze full of sinister surprises. As an undead paladin, you recover the pieces of the wondrous Staff of Waterdeep, but to complete the staff, you must explore underground tombs where fearsome undead creatures lurk around every bend. A unique feature of this book is that you need to discover your memory traces, which will not only tell you who you are, but also may provide clues in your desperate hunt. Catacombs books represent an ultimate challenge in role-playing adventure. Through lavish illustrations, your journey from the chamber to chamber in search of precious objects of your quest. Your analytical powers are tested to the utmost as you must decide how to deal with the weird and wondrous creatures and artifacts you encounter. Tear out bookmarks and memory traces included. So the interior art is by George Barr, who I can't point out to directly, but I have definitely seen in other pieces of work. But so while I can't give you another example off the top of my head, you probably, if you've seen some of the older books, have seen work like this before elsewhere. And, you know, did he do the cover for the BX Expert set and Basic set? I would need to look it up. This is a very impromptu and off-the-cuff episode, I'm afraid. As much of my output is, I'm afraid. But I greatly enjoyed playing this back in the day. I could not for the life of me remember what it was called. This particular one did not come from Goodwill. This one came from Noble Knight Games. I bought it once I was able to finally remember what it was and look it up and keep my eye out for it. And I don't mind. I'm in a position where in my life where I can do that, and so I did. Much like how I might someday decide between getting a lithograph or a Gickley print of Elmore, something from him to hang on my wall. Obviously, I'll never buy an original Elmore. That's an insane amount of money, and I won't have that. But, you know, gotta wave that geek flag sometimes, right? Especially in the privacy of my own home. And, yeah, just, that is pretty good. I like how it conveys, right? Anyhow, I think we'll stop there. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I record this just before Good Friday. I wish you a happy Easter if you observe it. And I'll see you next time. A regular episode will be next. If you're watching these as they come out, as usual. Goodbye.